Hey, it's probably Sharon. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I think this is probably the shortest video I've made so far, but today I'm going to explain what is a junk journal. If you're anything like me, you're scrolling through on the internet one day, whether it's Pinterest or Facebook, and you come across these awesome handmade books, and they have so much stuff. They have laces and charms and bows and fabric, and they're even sewing the paper. Like, what is that? They're sewing the paper, right? And I'm like, that is so cool. What is this? So I went down the rabbit hole and I've been hooked ever since. But if you're just starting out and you don't know what a junk journal is, I'm just doing this quick video to explain what it is and why people love them. I mean, one of the things I think I love the most is I get to recycle materials, stuff that's normally going to go to the landfill, and I'm making something useful out of it, something pretty out of it. And I also love that they're interactive with all the envelopes and tucks and pockets and, you know, clipping things in. It's just, they're fun to work in and write in. They're fun to make. So let me explain what these are. So what is a junk journal? I'm just going to give you the basics, and this is my interpretation and what I would describe it as. I would say it's a handmade book made from recycled, found, vintage, and or new materials, depending on your style and the look you want. When you can upcycle items that were destined for the landfill, it gives you such a feeling of accomplishment. Yay me! Some examples of materials that you can use to make a junk journal cover are recycled cardboard such as cereal boxes or shoe boxes or shipping boxes, and then you can wrap those things in fabric or paper such as scrapbook paper or gift wrap, just to name a couple. There are many more things you can wrap it in, of course. This cover for this journal was made from a cereal box, and then I covered it with some old sheet music and some scrapbook paper. I've added some lace, did some stitching. This is called a belly band, so it can be fabric or paper, and it's kind of holding in that little booklet. And you can use things like paper sacks too. This is a paper sack that I just put texture paste on using a stencil. So it's got a texture to it, it's raised. And then you can use that as another place to tuck some of your important things in there. Some examples of paper that you can use as pages in your junk journal are old book pages, sheet music, maps, packing paper, of course you would need to iron it out, and coffee dyed paper or other natural dyed papers. I will put some links below of how to do that. And here is some packaging paper that I just ironed out and used as pages and writing spots in the journal. So that'll save it from going to the landfill, and I made good use of it. So some ideas of things that are often used to embellish or decorate junk journals are old postage stamps, window envelopes or junk mail, laces and trims, inks, stamps and stencils, stickers and washi tape, tags and cards, scraps of fabric and paper, and many, many more things. And here's another example. This is just right inside the front cover, but I've just added some pockets with some postcards and tickets and tags. Here in the front, I've just put a little bit of twine here on the edge and tied it. A little flip out where I could write stuff in, and then this is a tiny little notebook that I just made from scrap paper. So what do you do with a junk journal? You can use it to keep notes of your vacations or your travels, track your bucket list adventures, write about childhood memories, use it for an art journal, keep track of your goals, store mementos and photos. I have a few going like this for the kids in my family that I'm going to pass on to them when they're 18, so I'm really excited about those. And really anything you want. This is another fun idea. You take some book pages and make big pockets out of them. You just fold them over. I think this was 3 book pages. Just fold them over and you can make little pockets to keep things in too. Here's an example of like a tuck spot, and I just have a writing card tucked back in there. You see I've just put some bits of fabric, a little ribbon there, some lace I've sewed around. You can just get really creative with it. Here's a tag booklet. It has some pages inside of it. It's like a mini notebook almost. You see I use book pages. We put, like, this is clipped in. It's another little booklet. And then one of my favorite things too is putting lace. So here's a book page. I've sewn lace on the edge of the page. So yeah, I just love how it's so interactive and you can make it however you want. There's no rules. That's what I love about it. You can start with a junk journal with a simple notebook rather than building a cover and collecting paper for pages. And journals can have a theme or be eclectic with various bits. Right now I'm collecting Alice in Wonderland and steampunk stuff, so I'm excited. The best part is there's no rules, so you can get totally creative. Okay, so I thought I would show you a few things that are helpful to have if you're getting ready to start building your first junk journal. A lot of these things you might already have at your house. If not, I mean, you can make do and use what you have, but these are just things I feel are helpful when you're just first starting out. Start building your stash, I guess you'd say. Okay, so first thing, a lot of crafters use this art glitter glue. You've probably seen this before. It dries pretty quickly. It's really good stuff. However, it is a little expensive. I choose to use Elmer's glue a lot of the time. It does the job and it's pretty cheap. Having some permanent glue sticks are also good to have. These brands both work really well. I'll try to put links for these below. Let's see, some black permanent ink. If you're going to be doing any stamping, having a permanent ink is great. I would start out with black and build your stash from there. If you want to do some distressing around the edges of your tags or pages, having a brown distress ink is helpful to have. I would go with a brown, like walnut stain or vintage photo or burnt something. Burnt. I'll link it down below. It's burnt something. But anyway, and then a dauber to smudge the ink around the edges. Or you could use something like this to ink around the edges or to stencil with. It's like a makeup brush. So that works very well. Scissors, of course. A paper trimmer is good to have as well. And then a circle punch. This is handy if you want to do those closures on little booklets or folders that have the 2 circles and you wrap the string around. So it's nice to have a circle punch because you can make those yourself. And then you can also put a little notch in your pockets when you make a pocket with the circle punch. A hole punch for your tags is necessary. I think this is one of the things you really want to have. And then if you want to do your journal, you want to bind this signatures into the cover, you can get these little kits online. They have the wax thread, the needles, and then an awl to punch the hole. So that's really helpful and it's not very expensive. So yeah, that's kind of like a starter kit, I would say. Some good stuff to start off with. And I will try to link as many of these things below. Some of them are old and I probably don't have a link for them, but I'll do what I can.